Alright, so now we have our beams in and we need to go ahead and put in our joists. So we're going to go back to our foundation plan and we're going to draw in our joists. So in order to do that, we are going to add a beam system. Okay, on our foundation plan, we're going to go up to the Structure tab and click on Beam System. We're going to use an automatic beam system. If you look at our drawing, it tells us that our floors are 2x10s that are 16 inches on center. So we are going to select 2x10. We'll use center justification and a fixed distance of 16 inches, which is 1'4". Okay, so now we're going to create a beam system. So we're going to select beam system. If we take a look at our drawing, we can see that our joists are 2x10 floor joists that run above our beam. So we are going to select 2x10s, center justification, and then we're going to put 16 inches or 1'4" in here. We can use an automatic beam system. What we need to be aware of is that it's trying to place it at a work plane up top of a pier, and it actually needs to be above that. So it actually needs to be about 20 inches above that. Oops, sorry about that. Sometimes that happens. So I'm going to put 20 inches in, and then I'm going to use the automatic beam system, make sure my beam's running horizontal, and then I'm going to click. And it says that they are not visible in the foundation view, so I'm going to look at it in 3D. The reason that they're not visible is that they're sitting slightly above the beam and where my cut line is, so I will have to just modify the view range for my foundation plan so that those are visible to me. Alright, so now if we take a look, actually let's go back to this section because again this is going to be a little bit clearer to us. In our section view, you can see here's our beams that we drew, here's our pier, and then these are our joists that are sitting above it. In 3D, you can see that all the joists are coming out, and then they're in between that gap that we left between the wall and between the top of the foundation. And that's actually correct, and we'll fix the wall in just a little bit. So we have all of our structure in there properly, and it looks pretty good. So the next thing that we need to do is go back to our foundation plan and adjust our view range so we can see all of our elements. So in our foundation plan, we need to go into the properties box and select view range, and let's just make a few adjustments. Okay, so I was able to get my joists to show by setting the cut plane to 3 feet. 2 feet was too low. I can try 2.5 feet and see if that works. That works too. The only problem that is occurring now is the foundation walls, the hatch pattern has disappeared, and we need to see that concrete hatch to show that that's being cut through. And we're actually cutting a little bit higher because we are looking at the joists above. Typically this information is kind of shown a little bit differently on the plan. But what we're going to do is we're just going to try to modify the visibility and graphics so that this reads correctly. So I'm going to type VG on my keyboard, and I'm going to go down to the foundation, so the structural foundation, and I'm going to look at the projection surface here. And I'm going to see if I can change it to be correct. Well, actually first, that's not right. I'm going to go to walls in this view and then type VG. Okay. And we'll try to see if we can't override the patterns so that it has a concrete hatch. Oh, right there. Let's see, apply. Okay, so that does make the concrete hatch show up, which is good. We just need to see if it affected it on any of the other floors. No. Okay, so that's fine. So back on that foundation plan, the concrete hatch is showing. We also need the concrete hatch to be showing for the piers. So we want to find columns in visibility and graphics settings. So again, you can find it in properties or type VG. And if I find column, I can also override that so that the patterns can be concrete. Okay, apply. There we go. So now it's reading properly. So now you can see your beams, you can see the piers, all the footings and everything is reading correctly. The last thing that we're going to do is label our drawing. So we need to go back to our foundation plan and take a look at this, and we want to label and show all the dimensions that are on this foundation plan on our drawing. So let's go ahead and put in the 10-inch dimension, the 2-foot dimension. Go ahead, I know I said we were going to delete these, but go ahead and show them. That way I know that you drew them correctly. And then we're going to dimension the entire outside of the building. And then add all of these notes just as you see on the drawing. So I'm not going to walk through that with you except for the part about annotating, just in case you guys forgot. You annotate, you add text, and then you can add a leader line. Make sure that your leader line actually points to the object, like the concrete wall. Point to the concrete wall, click, go over, and then type 10-inch concrete wall. Make sure everything's in caps with all the PSI information and all of that. Now make sure that before you submit your drawing that you run spell check, and then that way you can make sure everything's spelled correctly. One other thing that we have to do in here is add a crawl space access door. So our crawl space access door is actually 32 inches by 24 inches. So this, we need to show that in our drawing. So you can go online, like to Revit City, and you can find an access panel door, or we can just simply cut a little bit of a hole in the wall by editing the profile. Or we can just add a little, we could add a door and we could change the dimensions. So let's go ahead and add in a swing door. We'll edit the type, duplicate it. We'll call it crawl space. Oops. 32 inches by 24 inches. Say OK. And now we're going to change the height. 32. Is it 32 or 34? I think I just said that. Nope, 32. And then the width is 24. And then for the trim, we're not going to put any trim around this. Okay, we'll say OK. And it does not want to make it that little. So sorry, that was not a good suggestion. We will go to an elevation, and we will just add it by modifying the wall. So I'll click on the wall, I'll edit the profile. It doesn't really give me the exact location for this little door. I'll just build in Now this isn't the proper dimensions either. I always do that later. If you guys like to do it differently, it's fine. This is just how I work. So this is going to be 4 inches. Sorry, 32 inches, and then this one is 24 inches. Here we go. And we can delete those dimensions. That put a little hole right in the wall for us, and let's just see if we can see that in our foundation plan. So yeah, you can see it's indicated here in our foundation plan, and we can go ahead and we can label that as the access door. If you want to make it look a little bit better on your foundation plan, you can modify the wall profile, and you can just have the whole thing start from up here, which will require me to have to just split this wall a little bit. Oops, part I want to keep. sorry. There you go. Now on your foundation plan, it should look like a gap. Yeah, similar. So either way you want to do it, that'll work fine. Alright, so again, just take a look at the foundation plan. Make sure that you are labeling everything that's shown. That you do show these interior dimensions, all your joists are showing, your concrete hatches are showing where appropriate, and then that will be your foundation plan that you can then put on a sheet. So you're probably saying, wait, what about the sill plate and the rim joists, right? Because there's a giant hole in our building on the side of it. So yeah, let's go ahead and create those things. I'm actually going to create them in another video for you so we don't get cut off.